Alrighty.
We're live.
We are live. How are you, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, bro. Bit of a storm down here in Welly, but the fire's on. Just hanging out, getting drinking a little champagne, getting excited for this weekend. Yeah, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I've been looking forward to this one for a while.
Yeah, I wasn't really. I don't know. This kind of I just thought it was further away than it actually was, and then just this week I was like, oh fuck, yeah, I'm amped.
It definitely creeped up, I guess, with like the big Connor, kind of the cloud of Connor, and that obviously a massive fight. But yeah, this one did sort of slip under the radar because I remember because it was initially booked for a couple of months ago, but got cancelled. So I'd remembered being kind of sad that it got cancelled, and then it crept up, and now it's fucking 3 days away, which is fun.
Yeah, why did it get cancelled again? Did TJ pop and then
He probably did pop. Let me
popped again?
let me just look it up. Cancelled.
Yeah, because I mean, I think this sort of flew under my radar because there were no other fights on it other than the main event that I was really interested in, which, I mean, that happens.
For sure, man.
Nights.
I'm just checking here. So TJ got injured, so I guess he's not the same fighter he was when he was juiced up. But like Vitor and the old guard, as soon as the juice came out, they were just whack.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we can talk about the juice when we get to
that's a whole nother thing for sure.
Yeah.
Should we start at the bottom of the main?
Let's start. So the first fight of the main is Mickey Gall versus Jordan Williams.
Oh,
Yeah, Mickey's back.
he is back, man.
He's back, 6-3. God.
Yeah, he's had a really interesting career, eh? Like, he's got such an unlikable face, and I try to get through it, but it's just, I secretly often want him to get lit up just because he's so cocky, thinks he's the shit, and he is he's a really good fighter, but he's so fucking annoying, man.
Yeah, and he came in with the hype. You know, he was talking a big game. It was like, oh, what can this dude do? And it just, I don't know. He hasn't really lived up to it. The CM Punk was
Dream debut, man. Such a dream debut. Massive star. Wrestler that thinks he's going to be like a fucking cage fighter all of a sudden. Against Mickey was young, but he's like a polished, like black belt in jiu-jitsu, decent hands. He just got propelled so many levels, but then his competition didn't have to propel because everyone's like, well, CM Punk was a wrestler. So he got all the hype without the now you have to fight the hardest dudes, sort of.
Yeah. And so he fought, what's his name? The Karate Kid.
Sage,
yeah, God.
Yeah.
Fought him, took him down, won by submission, right?
Yeah. Choked him out, man.
Choked him out, sent Sage to one championship, I think.
To then also get knocked out, which is raw for him, man.
That is raw.
A lot of UFC fighters getting knocked out and one championship at the moment. They're not having an easy time over there, man.
It's pretty wild, eh? Like,
it's like a sleeper organization. Like, they definitely the quality level is world class out there, man.
Yep. They're no joke. And then Mickey fought Diego Sanchez not long ago.
And also Mike Perry was his last fight, which is there's no shame in losing to fucking platinum Mike Perry, man. Like,
That's right.
He is an absolute war dog, and if I remember rightly, he used a lot more wrestling in that fight, and just kind of he was just too big and strong for Mickey, and kind of ran through him, but. No shame in that. Like, that's a hard dude to fight.
Yeah, and it seemed like Mickey gassed out quite You know,
That's
he throws
right.
all his hardest shit like in the first minute, and then he's fucked for the whole fight.
That's
Like,
the ego fighting, eh? He's just like wants to
yeah,
finish this dude and shit. But
yeah, he really
yeah,
wants to be that guy.
yeah.
And
But it's going to be interesting to see what he can do against Jordan Williams. Like, I feel like it's a decent matchup. I've only seen Jordan fight a couple of times. The thing I remember about him is that he's got diabetes and he's always trying to balance his like blood sugar levels during like weight cuts and camp and stuff. That's a super hard challenge to have on top of going into the fucking octagon and fighting Mickey Gall, man.
that's hard. Yeah, that's fighting on hard mode when you're battling your insulin levels as well. That's rough.
That's rough, man. But yeah, gonna be interesting to see, man. Mickey will come out talking, I'm sure, and see if he's been improving. See what he's been picking up in the gym, man. It's gonna be an interesting fight.
I'm looking forward to it. It's, yeah, let's see. And then in the flyweight, women's flyweight, Miranda Maverick versus Macy Barber. That's a
Yeah, man.
Macy Barber's got them hands.
She does have them hands, and Miranda is just, she almost looks like she's like an X-Man or something, just so shredded, like really great pressure, amazing cardio, only 24, and Macy's only 23, so they really are they're fresh to the UFC. It's going to be two young, hungry lions in there, man. And yeah, that's going to be a tough fight. Jeez.
Yeah, so Macy lost to Alexa Grasso, which Alexa Grasso is
She's been looking,
really good.
and decision as well. So Macy would have probably, I'd say, gained a lot from that fight.
True.
But yeah, Miranda in her last fight looked super dangerous.
She did.
And she's also training in between, studying for a PhD in psychology, which is just only adds to the X-Men feeling of it all, man. She's just one of those ridiculously talented human beings. I love that she's putting all that intellect and focus and discipline into mixed martial arts. Like, she's going to be a fun fighter to watch, I think.
For real. And any body language shit, she'll be able to just spot.
Yeah, she knows what her opponents are thinking, and that allows her to make moves like three ahead. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah, let's see what she can do with the body language shit during the fight. We'll see.
We'll see what reads she can get from Macy. Hopefully she can put Macy away. Macy's just kind of an annoying fighter. I don't know. I just haven't been able to connect with her, man. So I'm in the Maverick corner on this one for sure.
Yeah, I feel the same.
And then we got a couple of featherweights. Darren Elkins versus Derek Minner.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
you know that Darren Elkins' nickname is the Damage because he's got that tattooed on his chest.
It takes a special human being to tattoo the Damage on your chest in like a Halloween type font. Like, he's another dude, man.
Weird. Even if your nickname is the Damage, like, why get that on your? But I mean, it's
all part of it, bro. It's all part of it.
Yeah.
He has been in some absolutely legendary wars, man. Like, when you see him on the card, you're just like, fucking take a piss before this fight. Like, do whatever you need to do, because Darren Elkins is just like blood and guts and pressure and cardio. Just a real feast for the hardcore fans, man.
Yeah, and he does get tagged. Like,
It's touched.
He gets touched up. He does some touching, but he does get touched himself.
Yeah. They'll be touching on both sides in this fight, I'd say. Like, yeah. And Derek Minner, just, a hard-nosed wrestler. Nothing flashy, but cardio for days. So that feels like it has fight of the night potential. Like, they're just going to meet, and it's going to be a war of cardio and attrition. Like, I cannot wait for that.
So who would you put your money on?
Yeah, similar records. Darren Elkins 26-9, Minner 26-11. So it feels like a good matchup. I gotta go into Elkins' corner. I hope he has some shit left after all those wars, and I was impressed with Minner in his last fight. I just remember being like, this dude has the grit, you know, that Gregor Gillespie sort of, those wrestlers, and they can really dig into that like deep gear when they need it. So, man, who are you feeling?
Yeah. I'll go with Alkins as well. He's 37. Man. Like that's
Chebo.
a
Yeah.
lot of wars though. Like
Yeah, that is. I mean, he is the damage. You know.
the damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Ryan Hall fought him.
That's
right.
That's a hard fight for the damage, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, and then we got some bantamweights.
Mm-hmm. Kyler Phillips versus, how do you fucking say that?
Raulian Palva.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Kyler
Yeah.
Phillips, nice header here.
Great header here. Yeah, only sort of a recent addition, but it looks like he's using some quality products on it. He's got that shine. It looks like a healthy header here, put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
he braids it up for the fight, which is smart.
Yeah, and then he unveils it, and you're like, damn.
Right after he wins, he just undoes the braids and
lets his locks flow down. It's
you gotta.
That's a good time.
That's a power move.
But yeah, he's coming off a big win against Sonia Dong, who's a highly rated, you know, team alpha male product. You know, there's a lot of people high on Sonia Dong, and that was a classic fight. You know, Phillips really employing that karate style. The movement was reminiscent of like Connor and Wonder Boy. Had this bounce, and it was just like, this guy is a problem. And I was like, I cannot wait for this guy's next fight, and it's in a couple of days, which is exciting.
It is, yeah.
And
Paiva, is that how you...
I think it's an L. I think it's is it Paiva? Yeah, he's
Paiva.
You know, they wouldn't be putting him up against Kyler Phillips if he wasn't a quality opponent. You know, I remember last time I saw him, it was like, keeps it really long, really crisp, straight striking, and he just looked crisp and honed in. So I think it's going to be an interesting battle on the feet, I would say. But yeah, I cannot wait for that fight after Kyler, man. He's just so creative in there, which is just so fun to watch.
Yeah, that's a cool fight. I'm amped on that. And
yeah,
we got women's bantamweight.
Co-main time.
Yeah, Aspen Ladd versus Macy. How do you say that?
Chiasson. It might be French. You might be butchering that, but
yeah, is she?
Yeah, I honestly can't remember too much about her.
No.
So I mean, I hope she, you know, introduces herself to us.
Yeah. So she beat Marion Renault.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
you take it.
You take it, but it's nothing to write home about.
And then Aspen Ladd 9-1, coming off that first round knockout at the hands of Jermaine Durandame. No shame in that, man. World class kickboxer, policewoman in the Netherlands. Like, she's a bit of a legend as well. So
yeah.
And she did have that kind of the confidence of an unbeaten fighter going into that fight, and it was a big step up in competition. So I think there's going to be a good fight for her to come back, find her feet again, and hopefully show us what she's been working on.
Yeah, so she hasn't fought since 2019, but I mean, COVID and everything.
It's been a time.
It's been a minute, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what she's been working on.
Yeah, and there's a lot of trust in them as the co-main, so it'll be interesting to see how they set the table for this belter that we have at the top of the card. Fucking the return of TJ versus former training partner, teammates, Cory Sandhagen.
Yeah.
And this is where it all feels, you know, like this is when it feels like a top heavy card. Like, it's like, oof, all of a sudden those dudes are fighting.
Yeah, they really didn't stack it. But yeah, this fight's really good. And the big talk has been who got the best of each other in the training room.
Yeah, well, they know each other. They were sparring partners. So how much is that going to play in? Like, it was a couple of years ago, but it's still like, it just adds that extra element, to the story where you're like, have they already seen? I'm sure they would have already seen holes and areas they can exploit in each other.
Well, TJ's openly said that Cory beat him the fuck up. So
that's interesting,
And Chael was saying that he talked to he wouldn't say who beat who the fuck up, but he said he talked to the manager of the person who got beat up, and that manager said, we don't want that fight. We want any other fight. So now we know that he was talking to TJ's manager.
Whoa.
TJ's manager was saying, we don't want Cory. So
I mean, Cory is a scary dude, you know, like he looks like the most normal, low-key character, and then you see what he's been doing in his last fights, the run he's been on, apart from, you know, that one loss to Aljamain, who, you know, is the current champ, you know, and he's a top world-class fighter. One, you know, quick fire submission, but the run he's been on before that, and then knocking out Marlon Moraes with a wheel kick in spectacular fashion, and then fighting Frankie Edgar, who is a hard fucking night out for anyone, anytime, and then he hits him with that fucking, one of the most elegant flying knees, walk-off flying knee, and Frankie's just in another fucking dimension. It was like, alright, this dude is fucking for real.
Yeah, definitely. And the main thing that people have said about Cory is that he doesn't have good wrestling, but you know, I feel like he's worked hard on it. Like he took the Frankie fight, which potentially would be wrestling heavy, even though it didn't get there. Like,
but you have to be prepared in the wrestling department to fight Frankie Edgar, man.
Exactly. And I mean, it depends in the training room, were they only on the feet? Because on the feet, I see Cory beating TJ, but when it comes to the wrestling, I don't know, I see TJ being able to hold him down at least and just grind out those rounds.
That's such an interesting point, man. Yeah, there's so many different types of sparring in MMA, and yeah, Cory's obviously so creative and so technical on the feet, but TJ just has that nose to the grindstone approach, and you know that he can dig deep and he can just hold him and grind him out and take a bit of the pop off those strikes, take a bit of that lateral movement away, and then all of a sudden in the 4th and 5th round that could become a totally different fight.
Yeah, exactly. And I think TJ's good on the feet. I feel like TJ's such a competitor. He's just such a veteran now. Like I'm a fan of TJ's, even though he's a snake in the grass and shit, and his personality, whatever. But him as a fighter, like he's just a fucking good fighter. Like he's just really good. And the Cejudo shit, like, I mean, he was juiced to the gills.
To the absolute gills. But everyone fucking makes mistakes, you know, like when you're such a competitive athlete and such a competitive person, you know, you can so see how, you know, they're fighting for every inch, every small advantage, and you just go, fuck, if my body could just be a little bit more refined and tuned, then, you know, maybe I'll be able to, you know, put a title reign together. And it really comes down to like a lack of confidence, because he doesn't need any of that shit, man. He's a legit, insanely good fighter, and I hope he has success in this fight. You know, I hope it's a good fight, because everyone fucks up, man, and like, he's coming back, he's owning it, he's, you know, it's such an interesting aspect of this fight, man.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen about EPO and from what he did, you know, every other test that he's done has been clean, and potentially he only used this EPO to make weight for the lower weight division. So, you know, was it did he get a competitive advantage from it? Who knows?
Interesting.
So yeah, I mean, coming in after that long of a layoff against Cory Sandhagen, ex-training partner who potentially handed your ass to you. Is that the saying?
I think it is.
Yeah, yeah, that works. Yeah, I don't know. That's a big ask.
Yeah.
If he did do that in the training room.
Yeah, but even despite that, the improvements that Sandhagen's made in the last like 18 months, even, it's just like he's looking like he's clipped into gear. You know, like it reminds me a little bit of Conor coming back to fight Poirier for that second time. You know, it's like Conor's been out. He hasn't been in the flow. He's a fucking awesome fighter, but you know, Poirier had been in there. He'd been fighting frequently, testing himself. You know, he's up to date with the fight game, and he's just in that sort of flow. And I feel the same about Sandhagen right now. He's just been fighting, been in big fights. He's allowed himself time to rise to the occasion, and I just feel like he's going to be so seasoned in there. But also there's emotions that could come into play, you know, like there's a lot of storyline here, ex-teammates, so we'll see. But Cory just seems cold and focused. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just feel
it feels like Cory's got a lot going for him. He's in the flow of it, like you said. He's just been fighting, and if he is the one that beat TJ up in the training room, you got to feel good about that. You got to be like, okay, I got this dude, man. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's so exciting, and arguably, you know, this is the number one contenders fight. You know, I guess Aljamain and Peter Yan will have a rematch after that strange fight that they had. You know, the illegal strike. Yeah. But you know, whoever wins this fight is next for the bantamweight championship of the world, and that's, you know, any of those matchups are just so exciting. What a Shark Tank at the moment! Like, what a pressure cooker of a division.
I know.
Oh, wow.
I know. So, yeah, I mean, it's got to be the number one contender. Like,
who else? Who else is there? Like, that really makes the case.
Who else is there? I don't know. Yeah, because is Aldo's in that division now? Is he?
Pull up the division. I reckon. Like, oh, yeah, big reach advantage for Sandhagen as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
He's
every
long.
every time I picture them fighting, I picture Sandhagen being so much bigger than TJ. But
yeah, TJ's kind of like sort of run TA, like short arms. Like, I can see Sandhagen just like bouncing and just popping the jab, and just TJ getting frustrated because, you know, and he's come out and said, you know, he wants to make a statement. He wants to destroy Sandhagen, wants to beat him up, put a beating on him, I think he said, which is big talk, man. And I feel like, you know, if he's hunting for a finish, trying to come back and be the champion, the ex-champion, or the champion that he once was, you know, he could get absolutely put away if he's at all rushed in there. If he's at all trying to do something against someone as slick as Sandhagen, he's going to have a rough fucking night out there. Like,
yeah,
he better come correct. He has to be patient.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so we got Rob Font.
Oh, love Rob Font, man. Shout out Rob Font.
He's a sleeper.
Yeah, slowly, patiently, methodically going about his work, man, and looking good doing it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
we got Mariah, we got Aldo there, Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's quite a lot of veterans in there, and the top 10, you know, like the top 5's looking super crispy. But yeah, there's a lot of that sort of 6 through 10, Dominic Cruz, Garbrandt, Munoz, Edgar, Aldo. It's kind of interesting that there's so many still, you know, high level fighters, but real veterans of the game down there.
Yeah, Mariah has just been getting slapped a little bit by.
Yeah, he's kind of just been getting touched. The chin seems like it might have turned to glass, man.
And that Aldo fight, he didn't really win that.
He didn't win that.
I don't think so.
That was a questionable win. Yeah, he's on a bit of a
Yeah.
slide, man.
Yeah, I quite like Aldo. Is a hard guy to beat. Um, but yeah, I mean, who have you got in the rematch? Sterling and Jan.
Man, I wanted to see more from Aljo in the first fight. I feel like he really wasn't fighting a good game plan. You know, he was rushed. He got tired in there. I feel like he seemed nervous. You know, and it would make you nervous.
Really did.
Fighting Peter Yan, who's just a ice cold stalker, that high guard, amazing footwork, and just he's hitting you and you just can't get him. He's like such a scary dude to fight. But yeah, I don't know. I thought Aljo would have fought a lot better the first time. So hopefully he learns from that and, you know, finds a way to get into the flow. But it's hard to bet against Peter Yan, just the way that he's, you know, I remember we watched his debut together and Dan Hardy was like, this dude I'm so high on this dude. Like, he's coming, watch this man. And it was a pretty low-key fight night, I think in like Poland or something, and he murked the dude, and I don't think he's lost since that, apart from the disqualification against Aljo. But you got to pick Peter. What do you think? Sorry, I'm rambling.
Yeah. No, I agree. And yeah, when Sterling just looked really like the moment had taken him, this was his shot, you know. He was really just rushed on everything, just trying to put everything out there, where Jan is just he's got that Russian coldness to him, that calmness. You can't shake him. You can throw whatever you want at him. He's fine with it. Yeah, he's chilling. He's been through this shit.
Yeah, the dudes that come out of Russia and just a lot of those, you know, European, Czech Republic and Georgia, and they just seem like a different breed. They've just got a different level of grittiness and toughness. And yeah, I mean, imagine if we get to see Peter Yan versus Cory Sandhagen, like if they both look insane in those fights, like how crazy is that fight? Like that's a massive fight. Like,
and who would you favor in that?
See, I would favor Cory right now. Like, I just feel like he's just so intelligent in there. Like, he uses all his tools. He has them, but he actually uses them in the fight, which a lot of fighters, it's like they have all these tools, but they get one-dimensional, or they, you know, show too much of their patterns. But I feel like the way that Cory mixes it up, I don't know. Yeah. It's such a good fight. Who would you favor in that fight?
Yeah, I'd probably go Sandhagen as well. His reach is so good. He uses the reach really well. Jan is such a beast. It would be a flip of the coin kind of vibe. Like, you can't really. There's no obvious, but
that's the sport, eh? Like, it's just,
that's the sport.
This is why it's so good. No one can say these dudes will definitely win. Like, I feel like in any other sport, it's like, well, this team is almost certainly going to beat this other team. Like with UFC, it's just like anyone can beat anyone on any given night, and that's, I feel like, what makes it so exciting. Like, everything else falls away. You know, the ranking doesn't matter. No one has an advantage. It's just how hard did you work, and do you show up, man? And do you have a bit of luck as well? It's just a crazy sport. Like,
like a playoffs is usually 7 games, or, you know, and it's just, you can, if you don't turn up one game, you can make it up. But in the UFC, shit's not like that unless you got a fucking rematch clause in the contract or some shit. But it's, what about the stoppage between Sterling and Jan? Do you hold anything against Sterling? Was that the right move to just even if you did play it up a little bit? Like,
I feel like it was a smart move. Like, I mean, I feel like he was definitely hurt. I feel like he milked it a little bit, but I mean, he, you know, no one really thinks he's the champion, but he gets an instant rematch. You know, he was losing that fight. He wasn't showing an ability to change the tide of the fight. He got hit with a really bad strike. Was it a knee? It was a grounded knee to the head.
Grounded knee, I think. Yeah.
So Aljamain was grounded, and Yan hit him with a super hard knee right on the temple as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, the other thing to remember in that is, like, you know, you're already getting beaten up for 3 or 4 rounds, and then you get hit with it. The effect of an illegal knee like that while you're in that condition makes it, you know, so much worse of an injury in a way. So Aljo, even though it looks like it's not like the craziest strike, it's like that's on top of all the other damage that he's already taken. So
and then if you don't finish the fight there, then he's got to get up and then fight with
keep
that
fighting the dude, like, fuck, man,
that just fucking needs you when you were down.
I think he made a smart move. I think it was smart.
Same. I just don't get that argument that it was the wrong. Why? What do you gain from that?
What I didn't like is just after the fight, the way that he was like with the belt and just like, I'm the champ and shit. And it's like, you're just not really the champ. Just be quiet. Just let it blow over and fight for the title again. Like, that was the one thing. I thought he did the right thing in the octagon, but then afterwards I was like, you're not helping yourself with the fans here or with anyone. Like,
and it's especially in his post-fight, he said, you know, I'm not the champ. And then seemed like he really thought he was the champ on social media and shit. It's just like, well, what the fuck?
Are you or aren't you the champ? Like, that's all we want to know.
Do you think you're the champ or not? For fuck's sake. Like,
yeah, you can't have it both ways, man. I think that was what annoyed me, but I mean, yeah, it's such an interesting rematch, because this sport is all about, you know, you take an L, how do you respond? How do you add to your skills and your mindset to come back the next fight against another super hard opponent and do better, you know? So let's see if Aljo's done the work, if we can put it together on the night against a dude that is just like so hard to get out of there in PDN. Like, I can't even like visualize him being finished. He's just one of those Terminator style, just how do you finish him? Unless you have like a grenade launcher or something. He's just too OP. Like,
that would be interesting to see Jan, like what could finish Jan. I don't know.
What would it be?
I don't.
Oh man.
The only thing I can see is just choking him out or something. But yeah. Okay, let me hit you with a random something super
random. With a wild card, bro.
Okay, Logan Paul versus Anderson Silva is in the talks.
Is that in the talks? That sort of makes sense, man. After,
this is how it came to be. Dylan Dennis leaked a DM where some jiu-jitsu guy, I forget his name, was asking Dylan Dennis if he would be open to doing a grappling match on the undercard of Logan Paul versus Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva hadn't heard anything about this, by the way, but this is
such a good way to pop that off, man.
Yeah, so, but Anderson Silva's like, yeah, I respect the Paul brothers. Like, I'm down. Like, why wouldn't he be down? Like, he just fought in a boxing fight and he fought real well. He won that. Logan Paul just fought Floyd. So
I like the fight, man. I feel like it's kind of weirdly evenly matched. So I would favor Silva. Like, I think he's just such an artist in there that I feel like he's a lot bigger than Floyd. He's gonna have weight behind those punches. Who would you favor in that?
Yeah, you got to go Silva. I mean, to pick Logan Paul to beat anyone, I don't know.
But did he beat Mayweather though? If we're gonna get real, if it had scorecards, did he beat Floyd Mayweather?
I mean, in the people's
scorecards.
The people's scorecards, I think Logan Paul didn't. He won because Floyd is the GOAT. So I don't know. It's like, if I compare it to say like basketball, as if like Jake Paul was playing LeBron, you know, and then scored like, and it was a game to 11. Jake Paul scored 5, I would be like, Jake Paul won that. What the fuck? Like,
For real.
you know?
I heard Jake Paul can ball though as well. Just saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying. Yeah, nah, it's true, man. But it's just good TV. Boxing is just so painfully boring. Like 99, 90, I would say 98, but it's probably more closer to 99% of the time. It's just like, what is the sport? Like, the production value is so fucking low. Like, they don't tell any story about the fight. It's just like, here's a random fucking fight, and all the shit's so old school. And then you get like one fight a year. It's like fucking Fury, Deontay, or some fucking love triangle at heavyweight. And there's just nothing else except the fucking Paul brothers who have come along and been like, this is all fucking whack and like stupid, and everyone just wants to make money, so let's make some money and let's make some entertainment. And it's been fun, man. It's been more fun than most fucking normal boxing fights. So like, even though it's also been super cringe and whack, but I'm like, fuck it, man.
Yeah, at least it's entertaining. And there'll be fighters like Canelo, but then there'll be like Canelo versus this unknown dude that you like, just...
Yeah, and they don't care to let us know who they are. It's like, oh, this is going to be a big test for Canelo because this dude's done anything. It's just like, here's the next dude for Canelo to beat. And it's like, why do I watch?
Yeah, real boxing fans know why it's a big fight and why it's a hard fight. But it's for the casual sort of boxing fan, there's no story there.
It's hard to get into it, man. And also, you just see these dudes like dancing around with these like knitting needle thick legs, and you're just like, one leg kick, and this dude would be crying in a heap. Like, they're just kind of silly. Like, I want to know who's going to win in an actual fight, like not some weird dance that these dudes are doing. And I'm like, I enjoy boxing sometimes, but it's just, compared to MMA, it's just like, why?
Yeah, and they wear their boxing shorts really high, which
so
I think
high.
It just looks weird. And I get, because the higher you have your boxing shorts, if they hit below the belt, that's a below the belt strike. So the higher you have them, the less they can hit, if you get what I mean. That's how I understand it. But it
makes total sense, man. But how are we meant to look at these dudes fighting with their shorts that high and take it seriously at all? They're so high up on the body, man.
I don't want to watch it. So okay, here's another random one.
All right.
But this one's coming up. This one's we've seen presses, we've seen some build up for Logan Paul. No, not Logan Paul. It's for the homie Jake versus Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
Who do you have in that fight?
That's a big question.
Where are you at?
And I'm gonna have to come back with some questions to pose to you, because I'm enjoying the segment that we're doing, the spontaneous segment. Wow, what an interesting fight, man. It's like, Tyron is like arguably one of the best welterweights of all time. Like, I know he's been in some boring fights and his results haven't gone his way recently, but you watch those highlights of him like putting like Josh Koscheck on his ass, and like just the things that he's like, when he explodes, like, he is so dangerous. Like, but then the Jake Paul factor, like, what are they doing? Some shit that's just different? And is his mindset, is his power of manifestation, you know, his confidence in himself just actually leading to him being like a really dope boxer? Like,
yeah. Well, I think there's a couple things with Jake that's going on, is that he's got the money to put together a really professional camp, even though he's not at that level yet. You know, he's building things around him to try and get to that level, and he's potentially, like, his mindset on things, he just doesn't seem to feel the pressure. And these big fights against Askren, even though Askren potentially a really easy fight, everyone was watching. The whole world was fucking watching. You got to perform. Like whether you should win this or not, you've got to turn up. You've got to fucking knock this dude out. So I mean, I just don't see him getting phased. He's ice cold. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I'm leaning on the fight though. Like it's a hard one.
Man,
I don't know.
It's like, I feel like it goes without saying that Tyron's going to be training his ass off. Like, the embarrassment of losing to Jake Paul would just be so bad. But that's such a powerful force in Jake Paul's favor, eh? The fact that dudes are like, I can't lose to this dude. Like, that's such a powerful thing in the back of the mind of Jake Paul's opponents. Like, I cannot, please.
And Jake Paul's using that in every press conference. He's saying, you know, I'm the Disney dude. Like, I'm just a social media influencer. You're the professional fighter. So he's putting that. It's a really good mind game, but at the same time, he's really, you know, he's hyping Tyron up. He's like, you know, this dude's a UFC champion. So it's a mind fuck of a game to play. It's a great strategy. Yeah, like I can see Tyron knocking him out, but I can also see Jake knocking Tyron out. So
it's weird. I feel like I'm leaning like 60% towards Jake Paul. Just because I love what you're saying. Like, he's just taking it real seriously. He knows that he can't just, you know, the jig will be up if he's not actually training super hard. He's got a pro team going on, trying to get him to that level. It is a big jump from Ben Askren though to Tyron Woodley in terms of the striking. Like, it's a big jump.
That's the thing. Is it too big of a jump? I just sort of think the last time we saw Jake, he knocked Ben Askren out first round. The last time we saw Tyron, he was wobbled. He was fucking. He did fucking. What's his name? Who did he fight last?
Was it
Vicente?
Yeah.
Yeah, and and in the Vicente fight, he fucking landed hard. Nearly had Vicente. Then Vicente fucking made Tyron do the stanky leg.
That's right.
He was fucking. That was wild. But and so I think, like, if Tyron can hit Vicente like that, surely he can hit Jake Paul. Like, that's...
But also, if he can't knock Jake Paul out, you know, because they'll be fighting in 10 ounce, like a lot bigger gloves than the UFC. So if Tyron can't knock Vicente out, Vicente's a super tough dude, but you know, Jake Paul hasn't been fighting very long, so he probably has a dope chin. Like, we haven't seen it tested, but
that's true.
It's such an interesting fight. But I think the thing is that, like, it seems like Jake Paul's in it for a short and a sweet time. Maybe not. Maybe he actually wants to be like a champion. But the thing is, for him, it's like, if he beats Tyron Woodley, that's so insane, really, on paper. And if he loses Tyron Woodley, it's like, well, this dude's like one of the best UFC welterweights in the world. I shouldn't beat this dude. I was just trying to test my skills. Like, I'm doing my thing. I'm taking it real seriously. He beat me. Like, if he just responds like that, he's in exactly the same position, and he's made a shitload of cash, and he can just keep doing what he's doing, I reckon.
Yeah, I think the show still goes on if he loses, but I think Tyron would become, you know, that would save his whole career. Like,
it would be kind of fitting for Tyron, I feel like, to be the dude. I'd kind of like it for Tyron because he was kind of an unsung UFC champion, and it was like no secret that the UFC and Dana didn't like super fuck with him.
Yeah,
so it'd be kind of cool to see him have a late pop off.
I would like that for him. Just to sleep Jake Paul, see that happen. I mean, that's why everyone's gonna buy this fight, because they want to see that.
And again, it's like the most I've talked about boxing in like a little while, just because this is an interesting fight. Like, this is must watch fighting, and hopefully
Yeah.
they have some good prelims and shit as well. Good card put together. I haven't really seen it, the full card, but
Nah,
it's gonna be fun.
I think it's.
Should we do a
Yeah, I
fight
think
companion for that?
I'm down. I'm down to illegally stream that and just react to the shit,
Respond.
respond to it. Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man.
Well,
And then we got just how good is it to be a fight fan, man? We got Sandhagen Dillashaw this weekend. We got fucking just week after week, just a real feast.
Yeah. Yeah, so the fight after that, Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland, where Sean Strickland went viral because of that video. Did you see him in that video with the wrestler?
Oh, nah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, well, it was just this. I think he was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, and they were just training in the training room, and doing a little bit of grappling, and the jiu-jitsu guy did a move where you sort of yank at the arm, which is it's considered a dirty move where you could potentially break the other dude's arm.
Whoa.
And Sean Strickland was like, what the fuck? Like, I've got a fight coming up. Like, don't do that shit. They went back to do it again. He did it again.
Holy
and then
shit.
Sean Strickland just sort of, he did a front kick to him, and the other guy like blocked it and was like, what are you doing? And then just like threw a punch. The guy was just like, yo, what's going on? And then so the whole internet was kind of like, fuck that dude that was trying to break his arm and shit. Then that dude reacted and said Sean Strickland was being a fucking dick the whole time. Was just like talking shit, saying, you know, why are you even here? Like, I could roll you, and just so
He's a character, man.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I have to check it out, man.
Yeah,
Interesting, because he looked really good in his last fight, man. But that's funny.
He did.
Good
I
drama.
like him. I like him. But he does seem like a really cocky kind of dude. But which is all good if you're not a dick about it.
And Uriah's got the fucking leg curse, so Sean Strickland he better cleanse before that fight, man.
It's
He's
true.
received the curse from Weidman, so
God,
just
he just snapped Weidman's leg.
the last time he was in the octagon, the last thing that touched him was Chris Weidman's shin snapping and wrapping around his leg. Like,
Did you see Weidman's back in the training room?
for fuck's sake. I heard like 2 weeks ago that it was still like at risk of being amputated. Like, can he chill?
He's throwing leg kicks right now.
Holy shit. He's kicking fucking palm trees in Thailand. It's like, bro.
Well, okay. What do you think about Connor saying, I've got a titanium rod in my leg now, so there's no chance of it breaking.
It sounds like when they said the Titanic is the unsinkable ship. Man. It's like, just don't say that. Don't jinx that. Just know that you've got a piece of metal in your leg, and that helps you throw leg kicks. Don't vocalize the jinx like that.
Just let it not break. Like, don't just
yeah, just do that, man.
As Dana came out and said, he's known about Connor's chronic arthritis in his ankles for years. So apparently he's had chronic arthritis in his ankles, which I don't know what that has to do with snapping your whole shit. Like, it doesn't really make sense. Like, people with arthritis aren't at more risk of just snapping their whole bone off. Like, I don't. But maybe he's had some ankle issues, and that I don't know.
I just don't. Yeah, what does it have to do with anything? Like, it's just all weird. All these boo-boos that dude's had leading into the fight. It's just, your leg snapped. It sucks. Can we just move on? Like, there's a lot of weird excuses and shit being made. Like, but on a side note though, like, how hard do these, like, how much fucking strain do these athletes put on their bodies, like being in training camp all the time, constantly taking impact, strength and conditioning, running all the time. It's no wonder, man, there's going to be some sore athletes like later on in their lives and shit. So they really are putting it on the line for the fans, and for the love of the sport.
Sure.
Like, fuck, man. I'm sure a lot of them have issues like that, It's just like, fuck.
Well, look at Michael Bisping. Like he was saying, like, I've fucking fought with one eye, and like so many of my fights, his knees are fucked. Like all these fighters are fucked. There is no way that they're not.
They're
Like
going
they're
in
all
just fresh, like they've just come off like a fucking retreat, a massage retreat. Like, just...
yeah. They're all gone. Like everyone's got fucked shit going
Fuck,
on.
it's
So
hard, man. I'm so glad we just get to watch and appreciate and not have to get in there. Even though it looks fun from the sidelines, you'd take one strike and you'd be like, holy shit, what is this? Like, this looked fun when I was like having a couple of beers, like with the homies watching the shit, and it's just too real, man. Oh,
too real.
I'm so glad
happy.
they do it, but fuck.
Yeah, I'm happy just chilling, smoking up, and watching that shit. I don't want to.
For real.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good note to end the shit on. I think.
I think so. Yep.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Yeah,
Exciting fights coming up.
Yeah, we'll catch everyone for the post reaction. We'll react to the fight and let everyone know our thoughts.
Yeah, unpack whatever the fuck goes down, man.
Unpack
Sweet.
and unzip.
Unpack, unzip, unveil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking around.
Peace.
Peace out.